Once again, a warm welcome to all of you in this episode of English After School. I hope your entire family is doing well and taking care of each other. There are many people in this world who have no one, no family, no close relatives. In the world of crime, I've seen this often. People who leave their villages and come to strange cities alone for work or studies. They live in rented rooms, work somewhere, sleep somewhere. When such people are murdered or something bad happens to them, the news rarely makes headlines, and the police often don't investigate thoroughly. Take serial killers like the Beer Man or the Stoneman. They targeted people who slept on footpaths at night. Most of those victims were unknown, with no one to claim them or report them missing. Solving such cases becomes extremely difficult. That's why today's story is special. It involves a young man named Ankit Chowdhury from Bagpat, Uttar Pradesh, near Delhi. He came from a good family and had a passion for studies. He was pursuing his PhD from Babasaheb Ambedkar College at Lucknow University. He had already submitted his thesis and was on the verge of becoming Dr. Ankit Chowdhury. Both his parents had passed away back in the village. There was a good house and property in Bagpat, but no one lived there anymore. Ankit rarely visited because it brought back memories of his parents. He wanted to focus on his studies, so he left Bagpat. First he went to Lucknow, then to Ghaziabad, where he continued his PhD. He had 6 close friends who were also doing their PhDs with different theses. The 6 of them stayed connected, meeting whenever possible, chatting on social media or phone. Ankit was brilliant in his studies. His future looked bright. He wanted to achieve something big. But since he no longer went back to the village, he decided to sell the ancestral house and land. He got about 1 crore rupees from the sale and deposited it all in his bank account. He lived in a rented room in Ghaziabad, actually in the house of one of his friends named Umesh. Umesh had offered him the place. Ankit said he wouldn't stay for free and insisted on paying rent. So he took 2 rooms in Umesh's house and paid rent. After his parents' death, he had no close relatives left. Distant relatives had already distanced themselves. No one ever asked how he was doing. That's when he sold the property and got the money. Umesh knew about the 1 crore. One day he asked Ankit, "Brother, I want to start a business. Lend me 4 lakh rupees. I'll return it slowly." Since they were friends, Ankit gave him the money without hesitation. Everything was fine until October 2022. Then, after October 7th, 2022, Ankit suddenly disappeared. He stopped going to college, stopped talking to friends, stopped calling. As I mentioned earlier, when someone has no family or close people to check on them, who will notice they're gone? 2 whole months passed, October to December 2022. No one asked about him. But his 6 PhD friends started wondering. They hadn't received any calls or messages from him. This was unusual because Ankit always stayed in touch. They used to plan outings and parties together, and suddenly nothing. They checked their messages. Ankit had been sending messages regularly, but the language and spelling were off. Small mistakes in English that he never made before. Ankit was highly educated, doing a PhD. His old messages were perfect. These new ones had repeated spelling errors on the same words. The friends realized something was wrong. They started searching. They went to his rented house in Ghaziabad. Umesh told them. He left without telling anyone. He took his things and went. The 6 friends grew worried. They searched everywhere but found no trace. They sat together and decided to dig deeper. They looked at the recent messages again. The spelling errors were consistent and not like Ankit at all. They feared the worst. Maybe someone was trying to make it look like Ankit was still alive while something terrible had happened. Finally, they decided to act. The 6 friends went to Bagpat. They asked around. Neighbors confirmed Ankit had sold his house and land for about 1 crore a while back. Now they were really scared. 1 crore in cash? What if something bad happened because of the money? They returned and went straight to the police station to file a missing person report. The police were casual at first. "You're just friends, not family. He might have gone somewhere." But the friends insisted. We've known him for years. He always stays in touch. These messages aren't in his style, and recently he sold property worth 1 crore. That got the police's attention. They registered the case and began investigation. First, they checked Ankit's bank account. After he went missing on October 7th, over the next 2 months, money was being withdrawn from his ATM card, sometimes in Dehradun, Roorkee, Ghaziabad, Haridwar, Rishikesh. The locations of the withdrawals matched the location of Ankit's mobile phone. At first, it looked like Ankit was traveling around, using his own card and phone. But when they checked ATM CCTV footage, they saw the person withdrawing money was always wearing a mask, even in December 2022, when masks were no longer common. The friends confirmed, that's not Ankit's build. Now the police had real doubt. They started from the last place Ankit was seen, Umesh's house. They questioned Umesh. He repeated the same story, but he seemed nervous. The police sensed something. During a search of the house, forensic experts found bloodstains in Ankit's rented rooms, stains not visible to the naked eye. That was it. The police picked up Umesh. Under calm, patient questioning, Umesh broke down and confessed. Here's what happened. Umesh and Ankit were friends. But when Umesh learned Ankit had sold his property for 1 crore, greed took over. He had already borrowed 4 lakh. He thought, if I get rid of Ankit, the entire crore is mine. Umesh worked at an orthopedic doctor's clinic, where he was an expert at using a plaster-cutting saw, handling bones and joints. On October 7th, 2022, Ankit came home. Umesh went to his room, chatted normally, and offered him juice. The juice was spiked with a sedative. Ankit fell unconscious. Umesh took out the saw, slit his throat, cut the body into 3 pieces, and left the parts in the room. October wasn't too hot, so the smell didn't spread quickly. The next day, he bought polythene bags. He decided to dump the pieces in different places, so the police would take time to find and identify them. He took a friend's vehicle, placed the 3 parts in different bags, and dumped them far apart. One near the Ganga Canal on the way to Dehradun, one in a nearby canal, and one along the peripheral expressway, each location at least 200 kilometers apart. He knew Ankit had no one to look for him, no parents, no close relatives. But he forgot one thing. Ankit had 6 very close friends who truly cared about him. Those 6 friends loved him like family. Whenever there was a festival or birthday, they took turns inviting him home. Ankit was so cultured that he would touch everyone's feet, even press their feet if they were unwell. Umesh had no idea these 6 would come searching. After the murder, Umesh had Ankit's phone and ATM card. To mislead the police, he involved another friend. He gave him the card and phone and instructed, withdraw money from ATMs in different cities. Turn the phone on only while withdrawing, then switch it off immediately.
This way, it looked like Ankit was traveling around. But the 6 friends refused to give up. Their persistence opened the case. Under pressure, Umesh confessed everything. He had already spent around 40 lakh of the borrowed money, plus another 10 to 12 lakh from the card over 2 months. There were no witnesses, no relatives. The case rested entirely on forensic evidence. The bloodstains in the room, the recovered saw used for the murder, and Umesh's detailed confession about how he cut the body into 3 parts. He had even burned the clothes he wore during the murder to destroy any blood evidence. Umesh tried to erase every trace. His one big mistake? He forgot about Ankit's 6 loyal friends. Because of those 6 friends, a murder mystery that stayed hidden for 2 months was solved. No one else, not police, not neighbors, not distant relatives, had even noticed Ankit was gone. If everyone had even a few friends like these, they would have the world's greatest treasure. That's the story for today.